Hi again, this is Mike, the Philosopher Engineer. Today is April 11th, 2020, and we're still in the middle of this coronavirus crisis. So kind of strange times. It's the day before Easter. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Easter weekend. Today's topic is degree of certainty. And it's under the category for my YouTube channel, which is the technical and tactical. That's what TAT stands for, is technical and tactical. Let's talk about degree of certainty. I think this is a really important topic at work and in life in general. And that is that when we are looking at things, we rarely have 100% confidence in something. Usually there's some level. It could be very low, it could be very high. If we're in the engineering world, we could be testing something or measuring something or calculating something. But very often we don't have 100% understanding. It's not binary. So really it's a level of confidence. And I think it's really important, and I talk a lot about sort of a qualitative analysis versus a quantitative analysis. And so we really, if we want to measure something and we want to analyze it, make a decision, we really want to quantify it. We want to calculate it. What's our probability? So in life, we need to make decisions all the time. Sometimes they're urgent. Sometimes we have a little bit more time to make those decisions. And we're gathering information, and then we're making the best decision that we can on the information that we have. And that's where the degree of certainty is really important. And when we talk about things qualitatively, we use words. When we talk about them quantitatively, we give numbers. And both are important. But what I want to talk a little bit about is how we use our words, because different people have different understanding about words. And if we're communicating to other people and we're trying to be objective, we're bringing data and we're sharing that data. And then if someone says, well, what's your opinion? How confident are you? Well, then you're kind of trying to match that with the data. You do not want to be overconfident, and you don't want to be underconfident. You want to be kind of measured and calibrated in your words. And one of the quotes that I like a lot that I've heard many times is, "In God we trust, all others must bring data." I don't know if that's true or not from Deming, but I think it's a good idea. And that is, even when we're listening to experts, we still want to look at the data. And if people give us words, what do those mean? So we want a consistency in our words, so we can say, we're pretty confident, or it's a wag. Maybe you've heard of a wag. So wag is a wild ass guess. That's kind of a nice description. So we can have that scale from we just are guessing to we have a very high degree of confidence, but really we kind of want to quantify that. If we did it on a sample of 1, and we got some interesting data, okay, that's interesting, but that's not a high degree of confidence. If we did it on 100, then that's a lot more. So we want to be careful. And often what we hear is qualitative statements, and we're not really sure what those mean. I'm going to be a little controversial here. I'm going to criticize Dr. Fauci, who's probably one of the most prominent people in this crisis. He was referring to some data, and he used the word anecdotal. Okay, well, that's just a word. What does that really mean? Does that mean I looked at 1 and a sample of 1 I had good results, or 100 or 1,000? I won't get into the specifics, but the key is when you make a qualitative statement, you should back it up with data. It's anecdotal. Could be my grandmother, made some wonderful soup that would cure a cold. That may be my anecdotal example. But really, whether that's just one example, there's many, many examples. We should be careful not to kind of react to just words without really understanding based on what. Maybe anecdotal is 2,000 patients and we had good results. How good were the results? Well, if it was 10 times better than the averages, is it statistically significant or not? That's what we're looking for all the time. And in the heat of the battle, sometimes we lose that discipline to really look at the data, to measure that data, and try to bring it to the quantitative part. So it becomes less about opinion and more about evidence. We want to look at that evidence with an open mind, and together as a team we evaluate it. So we talk about knowledge as a team sport, which I really believe is great, and it really captures that idea that it's a collaboration. It helps us understand topics. And then the decision making also should be a team sport. So we make those decisions together based on data that is objective and quantified, not opinion driven and not based on kind of just some words, but that we really look and we analyze it. So that's my technical and tactical tip for the day. As you work in your teams and you're looking at difficult engineering problems, you really want to talk about this degree of confidence. Kind of a quick test in a lab might be exciting, but maybe there were assumptions and maybe there's an error in the test. Is it repeatable? How many quantities are done? And so it's something we embrace as a process. And we embrace as a process the idea that we're always looking at sort of our level of confidence or degree of certainty, and it's usually not 100%, and it's often not 0%. It's somewhere in the middle. I often talk about the 3 Ps. Is it possible? Is it plausible? And is it probable? And so we're always in a process of iterations where if we're trying to accomplish something, we're improving that degree of confidence or level of confidence or that degree of certainty as we are more and more structured in our testing, our analysis, and we share that under peer review so that everybody else is looking at that same data and saying, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then you make the decision. You may still be wrong, but you're going to reduce how often you're wrong by going through that process and quantifying the data, doing it in a peer review setting where everybody sees it with full transparency. And then you all make a decision together. You make better decisions. And life is about making good decisions, and successful businesses are as well. So as we get our businesses back on track, let's make good decisions. Let's do it together. Let's learn together. I think that's just a great approach, and have a wonderful Easter weekend. Thank you very much. Bye.